When I was growing up, I never thought I was going to be a chocolatier. But today I want to take you down a little bit of my life path and how my career evolved and some ups and downs we had along the way and a couple of interesting lessons and silly stuff that we did. And so thank you to the person who asked this question. I am very excited to do a little bit of story time today. Hi, I'm Sage. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here to be your source of cutting-edge wellness information that can help you find answers to become happier and healthier. Please do me a favor and support us by hitting the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell. It only takes you a second, and it does so much more than you can imagine to support our tiny family business. And as you know, I am deeply passionate about helping you on your health journey, not just with educational information, but also with some of the amazing products I've created for our company. You can find a link in the description below to some of the world's healthiest gourmet chocolates, delicious elixir blends, and the purest and most potent adaptogenic herbs. So when I was young, I had no interest in being in the health industry initially. Growing up, my number one passion above and beyond anything else was surfing. And I wasn't at the level where becoming a professional surfer was ever in the cards, but I wanted to be in and around surfing. And I had an uncle who worked for the surf clothing company Quicksilver in Europe, and I thought he was so cool, and I wanted to, go down that path as well. And maybe even end up moving to somewhere like France. I thought it would be really fun. And so that's kind of the path I was on, like in high school and even starting to go into college, even though around that time, that was already when I was starting to get very much into health and nutrition, but it was just on a personal level at that stage that I was interested in. And, maybe sometimes sharing with friends and things like that. And I was even, teaching some classes on it, but in my mind still, the career path was going down into the surf industry. But as the years went by, maybe going around up towards like 18, 19, that industry started to feel a little bit shallower than I had previously realized, just in terms of the materialism of the clothing was not super exciting to me at that stage anymore. And also that industry had really had a catastrophe in 2008 with the whole financial crisis. It was, a booming industry before that, and it was really after that, and pretty much ever since, it's been a struggling industry. So I kind of dodged a bullet by kind of finding a different direction. But at that time, I was really continuing to pursue my passion in health and wellness. And the more I got into it, and the more I learned, the more passionate I became. It was hard to imagine having a career in any other industry. I didn't know exactly what my role was going to be. I thought maybe it would be working for another company making products like we make now, and maybe just being in some kind of a sales role for them or marketing or something of that nature. I wasn't exactly sure. And I started, though, kind of making this connection in my mind of, growing up, I loved the idea of searching for waves. As a surfer, you're always trying to get away from the crowd, find the perfect wave out there, find it something nobody's found before, find the best, cleanest conditions. And I kind of took that same mindset and turned that towards sourcing of the kind of ingredients that we love to use, of the most powerful foods in the world, of finding the beautiful regions that are, clean and not polluted and just pristine, and finding the most amazing herbs and superfoods like cacao and all these other, reishi mushroom and ashwagandha growing in these areas that were like these gems and things that, there's lots of waves in the world, so there's lots of herbs in the world, but the quality is really makes the whole difference. And so I kind of, that awakened me into a whole new direction here. And for a while, I thought the business model that I would do this in would be a form of elixir bars, a place where you could go sit down at a bar and have somebody like an herbalist behind the bar, kind of give you a little 5-minute mini consultation, and based on what you had told them about yourself, they would custom craft something perfectly for you. And this is a super fun business model to me still. I love the idea. It's a super fun space to be in. I love the time that I spent doing this. I did set up 2 such elixir bars in 5-star hotels, one in Paris and one in Sydney. It was a great time. But I kind of also was interested in the idea of having a product as something that's a bit more scalable and can actually reach more people to have the biggest possible positive impact. And I was already making chocolate as a hobby at this stage to share with friends, and sometimes I would teach, raw chocolate making classes and things like that. And I started dating Ana Blanca, and she has a spectacular chocolate appetite, let's say that. I would make what I thought would be enough chocolate to probably last a couple of weeks, and it would be gone in a couple of days. And so I was having to start to do serious amounts of chocolate production just to keep her satisfied. And she's an incredible woman. I very much wanted to keep her satisfied. And so that was the first realization, like, okay, I got to think about scaling this up here. And as we, grew further in our relationship, we are so compatible in how we work together, but our skill sets are totally different. So we're kind of like two puzzle pieces in how we fit together. So it started to feel very natural that we could do some great business together in addition to our romantic relationship, which is now coming up on 10 years, which is pretty amazing. And so the chocolate was definitely, we wanted to have that as our first product, but we weren't exactly clear on how we were going to bring it to market. Now at the time, I wasn't tempering the chocolate. Tempering is how you take chocolate through a series of temperature fluctuations to make it shelf stable so it can sit out on a shelf, not in the refrigerator, and not just melt. So I was making refrigerator chocolate at the time. I knew how to do tempering of chocolate, but just for ease and quickness of it, refrigerator chocolate made more sense for me at the time. So our concept here was we are going to make this chocolate into molds, into like a brick form, and somebody's going to order this brick online. We had a great mold. It was super cool. It had like the tree of life on it, and so we wrap up that chocolate, and we were going to sell people this brick of chocolate, and with the brick of chocolate we would send them these molds in the shape of a heart. So we were going to then email them a link to an online tutorial that I made. I still have this video somewhere. I have to dig it up. And in the tutorial, I show them how to use a double boiler at home to melt down that chocolate and pour it into these molds and then put them in the refrigerator. And then you have your chocolate made. We pursued this for quite a few months and got a grand total of 2 orders. So that didn't quite work out. One person was a random person who just happened to order online. Another person was a friend of ours, Victor. If you happen to be watching this, thank you so much for being one of the very earliest supporters of us. So that didn't quite pan out. But we were not taking no for an answer in that regard. And so we took that even a step further. We sometimes would bring these chocolates to parties and things like that to share with friends. And at one party, a friend of a friend turned out to be this very successful, super cool restaurateur who tried our chocolate and said, I need to introduce you to my friend who's the head of food and beverage for Hilton Hotels. And we were like, whoa, this is a exciting big opportunity. And we had in our mind, and we even presented it to this friend of a friend as such, the concept of shipping these bricks of chocolate to the different hotels, and that somebody in the kitchen there would melt it down, pour it into these individual molds, wrap those chocolates, and then somebody would transport the chocolates in a cooler to each of the hotel rooms every night for people to have in the evenings. Totally insane idea, but nobody told us it was a bad idea. It's funny, kind of as you're going into business, people seem to either be on one side or the other. They're either going to just talk crap about everything that you're doing, be totally negative and absolutely not believe in you, no matter how good the idea is. And sometimes it's with good intentions of wanting to protect you, but you never know. In any case, on the other hand, you also have people who will tell you your idea is amazing and be ultra supportive, even when the idea is kind of crappy. So we unfortunately suffered a little bit from people being too supportive during that stage because our idea was really half-baked. But it actually got quite far. It got to the point of us overnighting packages of these chocolates already made into the hearts. We packed them up with dry ice, so it was basically like sending it in a refrigerator to these guys. They received them. Apparently we got some feedback that they liked them, but it never really went any further than that. We never got anybody to take action on it. But that's okay, because it would have kind of been a mess. It was not fully well thought out. But I would say for the most part, we haven't made that many bad decisions. Mostly we've ignored the traditional advice that people have given us. In the food industry, generally people will say, you have to take on big investment. We didn't do that. We want to keep control of our company and not be under pressure. from investors to use lower quality ingredients, for example, to increase our profit margins. We didn't go that route. We have done this ourselves without big money. Two, they will tell you need to use a co-packer. You need to have another company with big manufacturing capabilities making the product for you. It ends up costing a lot more to manufacture that way, and we did not do that. And so basically, I want to take a step back and say that the impetus for me to do things a little bit differently was actually, back in the day, reading the biography of Elon Musk and seeing how he had kind of built his companies, increasing efficiency and decreasing costs for companies like Tesla and SpaceX by doing all these things in-house instead of outsourcing them, not having a bunch of different companies supply you parts, but instead making them yourself. And this can sometimes take longer because you don't have these advantages of other people who have been in the space before, but in the long run it can actually work out really good if you're willing to put in the hard work. So we didn't use a co-packer. We manufactured the chocolates ourselves and continue to do it handmade to this day. And then people will tell you that to get the products out there, you need to have a fulfillment company to ship your online orders to people for you. They warehouse it and they ship them. And you need to have a distributor to distribute your product to retail stores. We didn't do that. We got our product into retail stores our own. We shipped it there ourselves. We got the right insulation, the right biodegradable insulation, so we could do it with minimal environmental impact. And one thing that was a mistake along the way, I think, it's not huge, we made it through, of course, but was following the conventional wisdom that you have to go to this event called Expo West. This is an event, a big trade show that happens once a year here in Anaheim. And everybody tells you if you want to have a successful health food business, you have to go to this show. And this is a big show. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of companies there. Buyers come from stores all around the country and walk around your booths, talking to you and sampling your products. So we went there the first year, spent thousands of dollars to do the whole thing, and we were pretty excited because all these buyers were coming by and they would say, oh, this is an amazing product, and we would scan their badge so we would get their contact information, and they would say, yeah, please follow up with me next week, give me a call, I'd love to talk to you about it, let's get it on the shelves. And so we were feeling hyped, we were excited, we thought this is it, we're going to get into so many stores from this. And on the Sunday, earlier in the day, you have to go and decide whether you're going to sign up and pay your money for the booth for the next year. And so we were flying high. So we're like, yes, we're getting that booth for next year, let's do it. And then came the time after the event, and I started calling these stores and trying to reach these buyers who I'd previously spoken with at the event, who had said they wanted the chocolate, and they treated me like I'd never met them before, which is understandable. They met hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different product companies that weekend. But they were treating me, I realized, in a way that I might as well just be cold calling them, never having met them before, never them having tasted the product before, because they didn't remember it. So a light went off in my head thinking, okay, I can just cold call these people. Now we were already committed to do the event the next year, so we did it, but it was basically the same situation, and we didn't sign up for the next year that time. We were very smart. Everybody at the time told us we were idiots. The people running the event couldn't believe we didn't want to sign up for another year. But I think we actually made the smart move. Still to this day, people think we're weird for not doing that event, but I found that through just, power and persistence and cold calling these stores, I did just as good as having met them at the event and then trying to call them afterwards. And I hadn't spent thousands of dollars and tons of time going to this event. So long term, that worked out really well for us. It was a great learning experience. So things you're always going to learn along the way. You will make mistakes. Hopefully they're small, and we're fortunate not to have made too many mistakes. And we've managed to survive the challenges of 2020, 2021. It got real hairy for us there in the fall of 2020. But with this support of you guys, we managed to pull through. So I want to thank everybody for that. Thank you so much to anyone who's ever purchased one of our products. You're helping us to live this amazing dream life of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in a way that's healthy, and so we can feel good about having a beneficial impact on all your lives. So thank you guys for letting me share this bit of story time today. If you would like more kind of behind the scenes or business stories like this in future, let me know down below. Or if you're watching this on Instagram, shoot us a DM and let me know if you enjoy this kind of content. Because we do definitely have more wild and fun stories like this, and other times where we've lost money on weird and wild things that have happened as well, that I'm happy to share, whether it's for entertainment value or to help you from similar pitfalls in your own business and personal life adventures. Before you go, here's another video that YouTube thinks you would enjoy watching, and here's a video that I think you would enjoy watching. And up there's a link to our website if you want to check it out. Have an amazing day, guys, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time.